Hello and welcome to Masters of Inventory. We are the podcast that helps retail leaders make smarter decisions and run their retail businesses more efficiently. My name is Stan Andrus. I'm the CEO here at Simple RFID. And today's episode, we're going to talk about why you can't afford to wait on RFID.
And I'm Mandy Madsen, COO of Simple RFID. And we are going to dive into the real cost of waiting to implement RFID in your business.
Because here's the truth. Just because you are not actively spending money on RFID doesn't mean that you're not paying for inefficiencies. And doing nothing is really oftentimes the most expensive decision a business can make.
Today we'll break down exactly where money is leaking in manual systems and why RFID isn't just helpful anymore, it's becoming non-negotiable.
If you choose not to decide, you have still made a choice. Those were famous words from drummer Neil Peart of Rush. Inaction might feel safe, but it's often procrastination that's just cloaked in prudence. And we see that a lot.
Afraid to go ahead and get it going.
You're right. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk today about what your current inventory system is truly costing you. And we're going to go through and we're going to cover 5 general segments. In each of them, we're going to show what the cost of doing nothing is versus what results you should expect to see from implementing RFID. And we really want you to understand what your current systems are costing you. At the end of today's podcast, we're going to share the costs to implement an RFID system, and so you'll be able to really understand that trade-off, as well as provide you with an ROI calculator that we've built where you can actually do the math, putting in your business's particular numbers to understand that for yourself. First segment we're going to talk about is the invisible losses that erode your profit. We're going to start off with the big silent killer in retail, and that is inventory inaccuracy. So the general inventory of the United States, on average, retailers are operating at about 65 to 70% on average. That was kind of a bad way to say that. But, even if your accuracy for your particular business is, say, 80%, you say, Stan, my accuracy is much higher than that. Even if it's 80%, you're still 20% of the time inaccurate. And that's huge. 1 out of every single 5 of your items is not accurate. The numbers are not accurate. So what does it really mean in real terms for your business? It means that online selling becomes shaky, it becomes super risky, and it means that you're refunding customers because items are going to show that they're in stock and people are going to go and buy them, but they're not. And so you're going to get bad reviews from this. People are going to be pissed off saying, hey, I ordered this. 2 weeks later, I get an email from you saying, sorry, we don't have it. It means that you are paying your staff to manually count products, which is really very error prone and it's wasteful. And lastly, you're missing out on selling items that you actually do have in stock, but you're unaware of. With RFID, you can obviously accurately count and then display those numbers in your online channels. You can ensure that every single item that you have is actually listed for sale. And ultimately, you can save hundreds of hours every year avoiding these manual counts. So improving your accuracy along the way to 97 to 99%. So incredible.
Yeah, which is a wild difference, right? Yeah. Inaccurate inventory doesn't just mean stockouts. It leads to over-ordering, unnecessary markdowns, wasted capital, lost revenue that never even gets noticed.
What we see is that most retailers actually build in a buffer when they're ordering, just because they don't, before they come to us, they don't trust their numbers enough to really order precisely and just in time. So they end up adding a buffer to their numbers. And a lot of times that ends up with, a retailer ends up with bloated inventory at the end of the year, stuff that goes stale and has to get dumped at clearance prices. So really staying with the status quo, staying with how you're currently doing it, if you're using barcodes or hand counting, just means that you're going to be making these same decisions in the future based on unreliable data. Really, with RFID, you're getting near perfect accuracy, so you'll reduce unnecessary orders. You're going to avoid expensive rush shipping. You realize you're out of something. A lot of times, you might currently be having to overnight or expedite both inbound and outbound, getting customers the right order or whatever. So.
And also shrink. So whether it's internal, external, or accidental, if you're not tracking your inventory at the item level, you're going to lose it. or some of it.
Right.
Yeah. Retailers who only audit once or twice a year, and we've heard this from many companies we talk to, and we ask them how often they audit, they have no really clear visibility. But RFID changes that. It allows you to spot when and where items go missing, so you can actually do something about it, because you're able to count daily if you desire. So you know on a daily basis what you are missing, and they should be tied to sales.
Right.
If they're not, investigate.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really just like that, not knowing. One example I'm thinking of is we have retailers that do traveling shows. They're, some of them are like road shows or trade shows, fairs, whatever. They're taking their product, they're going on the road, and this is a great opportunity for retailers to lose product right, left, and center. They go out, they don't realize that they're not getting everything from that site, and they're leaving boxes of product behind. In either case, if it's lost, the product is gone forever. If it's left behind and later discovered, you've got shipping costs, you've got the product not being in your inventory for that window. So really, RFID gives you the ability to count inventory with far greater frequency, like you're saying, daily, and then much more accurately. So you've got really good information to go off of.
And the worst part is not just the loss, but it's a not knowing. That stress adds up. So think of a business owner. Maybe you're not even the one on the trade show going out with the inventory, and you're trusting that these employees are going out and they're taking really good care and making sure that nothing is getting lost. Well, this allows you to track it at the item level, when it leaves, when it's at the trade show, and when it comes back. And so you know exactly what, to make sure that everything is accounted for.
Totally. That's so huge. It's a really good point
you're
making.
How much peace of mind?
Yeah, no, it's a really good point, because business owners, of course, are going to be the most thorough, the most meticulous, and they're going to most likely not be the ones always in charge of that. They're not always going to be the ones that can oversee that. So it really does. It adds that peace of mind, like you're saying. That's huge.
So the next segment, labor waste is real. Let's talk labor. So if your employees are walking around with clipboards or barcode scanners doing cycle counts for hours, there is a better way.
Right. Yeah. Ultimately, RFID is going to save you hundreds of hours a year in time spent counting, and obviously give you much, much better accuracy.
Yeah, it can reduce your cycle counting from 40 hours to under 2 hours per week. So think about the labor costs alone in that. Like he said, the accuracy, because when you have employees out there counting and scanning with barcodes, like how much can you trust that they're doing the count perfectly correct?
Absolutely.
Not counting barcodes more than once or missing them.
Right.
So
being thorough, actually caring, because like you're saying, with barcode audits, you have to be very conscientious of where you're at, because if you aren't really conscientious, then you're just going to go and scan some of the same products, and the system's not going to know any better. So
even having to unfold
right.
clothing that's perfectly folded and to get the tag out to scan it, you don't have to do that anymore.
Right. What a massive job that is. You have to, that's probably one of the main reasons retailers don't enjoy auditing, is because they got to tear their stores apart to get product off of shelves that's out of reach. Like you're saying, unfolding clothing, disrupting all of your displays, of course. So it's a huge job.
RFID helps your team work smarter and faster. And when labor is tight, it seems like it's harder and harder to get employees nowadays. Yep. The time savings improves service, reduces burnout, makes your business more agile.
Right. The thing is, it's funny, is because we talk to retailers when we're introducing this, and some of them will say, well, I've already got my staff there, on site, I'm not really paying them extra to do this for me. But we've tried to push back and say, well, what, how accurate is the data that they're giving you at the end of this whole process? And are they enjoying what they're doing? Is that optimizing their work experience? Is there something that you could assign them to do that would be better for them? That could drive more revenue, that could drive more opportunities for the business, that could support the customer experience better. If you've got staff sitting at a store, barcode scanning off in the corner, and you've got customers walking in to purchase something, it's not going to look that great. So it's nice that you can really have your staff focused on the customers, or helping marketing, helping sales, helping grow the company.
Yeah, and on that point, we've brought this up in other episodes, but we have our search and find feature. So if you are looking for a specific size for a customer, and we're to talk about the customer experience, they might be needing a small, and you know that you have one somewhere. Maybe it got left in the dressing room, so you can take your search and find, go find that item within a few seconds, and get that item for them to purchase. You're saving a sale right there just by having this technology.
Yeah, absolutely. There's examples of like new fulfillment methods like BOPUS. I think we've talked about it in the past, which is buy online and pick up in store. So you have somebody that's purchasing an item and showing up in 20 minutes to pick up their new whatever. Well, hopefully your staff's able to find that item. Otherwise, you've got somebody that's not only paid for something, but they're driving to the store explicitly to pick it up. So yeah, being able to produce and deliver a exceptional customer experience without your staff feeling like chickens with their heads cut off, RFID is really the avenue to make that happen. And this is really a huge one, guys. Everyone is working so hard to build a reputation that is favorable online, that people talk highly about, but you can't sacrifice the goodwill of your customers and burn them and maintain positive reviews. So the fastest way to lose trust is to allow customers to buy things and then tell them, sorry, we don't have it. They generally don't complain, but if they do, it's not great because you got a bad review, but most of the time they just don't come back.
Yeah, exactly. Today's customers expect real-time info. They expect same-day fulfillment and seamless experiences. And with this technology, you can actually deliver on that expectation.
Right. And you think about it, online retailers, you're competing against every online retailer out there. It's a URL away. You change the URL and now you're in a new store. So it's instant. It's easy for them to navigate away from your store. So you're competing against the Amazon.coms and all of the other companies out there that are delivering an exceptional customer experience. You can't be the one that has stockouts, that can't fulfill orders, that takes forever to get orders out the door. You got to be responsive to the customer's needs. So, and let's not forget about order error, order fulfillment errors that do occur. So the cost associated with order fulfillment errors is really huge, and we have to talk about this too. So obviously, something gets shipped incorrectly to the customer. Are you going to get that item back, or are you going to give it to the customer? We've seen some return policies that just say keep it because we don't want to get it back. Other companies say, well, we need to ship it back. So obviously the company's going to pay for that return shipping. Then you've got to pay for the shipment of the correct item out to the customer. You're probably going to be expediting it because they're not going to be happy. I mean, maybe not, but you're also going to have lost profit because there may be some discounts you're offering. Certainly you're going to have some staff help to resolve this issue. It's going to take some of your time. It's going to be a headache, and ultimately it's potentially a lost customer.
RFID lets you verify your orders, so making sure they're packed correctly before they leave, and that's peace of mind for you and the customer. But honestly, we've used this for our own inventory. We tag everything, and so when we ship our packages to our customers, we also use this. We scan the box even after it's been all taped up, and I've caught errors in the last month, probably several errors. That would have been a big deal, especially when we're shipping internationally. If we had to reship that could be like $300 just for one thing that we shipped incorrectly. And maybe those customers have a tight timeline on what they're purchasing from you. So it's been awesome to have. I've used it to even check in on our inventory level on things I thought we were completely out of, and I thought we were going to have expedited shipping to restock. And then we found out there was a case that was just kind of hiding in the back. So it's, even for us, we've seen so many benefits.
Absolutely. It's really interesting because you always assume that you're packing things correctly. Human nature is like, I looked at it and I saw it and it was correct. And then, lo and behold, so it's really cool to allow technology to take its place and help us, do things better in our businesses. An RFID is a huge value add.
So the next segment is on growth without systems equals chaos. So, and here's another truth. Growth without systems is just chaos and additional stress. So what works at 5 locations will break down at 15 or 20.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen it time and time again where businesses that try to scale without RFID just amplify the problems. They end up spending time firefighting instead of building. So it's like a constant, it's a constant challenge for them, and they communicate that before they use RFID.
Yes, it gives you the control and visibility you need to grow smoothly. It's not just about keeping up, it's about getting ahead.
Yeah, and if you're somebody thinking, man, this sounds so cool, but we'll add it later when we get bigger. Here's kind of the spoiler. Growth doesn't give you time to fix inefficiency. It really just amplifies the problems. Inefficiency is already holding you back from scaling, and waiting just makes it worse. So we're going to dive in now to our final section here, which is our wrap up, and it's really the real cost of waiting. So let's do a recap. Waiting on RFID rather is not free. It is costing you. So your current system, your current processes are costing you missed sales. It's costing you additional labor. It's costing you, your customers, really a poorer experience, or a poorer experience than you could be delivering to them. Potentially bad reviews. People are very liberal these days about leaving what they think online, and so you really got to do things right to keep customers happy and minimize bad reviews. And then the big kicker, of course, is those lost customers. Obviously, you're also going to be spending money on marketing, driving people to your website. So now you've got some marketing dollars that you've invested, and you're sending people to your site, and you can't fulfill the product. It's kind of a waste of money. And so you've got that chaos element as you grow. Your problems amplify. And maybe worst of all, but certainly a big component, is that you have the stress of not knowing. You've got the stress of not knowing if you're losing things. And I've always said that your inventory, your product, is really your capital. It's literally your dollars. And so putting an RFID tag on your products is like having a little digital license plate that allows you to track every single one of your items, which is really tracking your money. You're tracking your investment as a retailer. So it's a huge deal, guys.
Absolutely. I mean, as you're going through that list, I'm thinking, like, how many thousands of dollars is that when you add it up, really? Maybe hundreds for some small companies, but probably for a lot of companies, that could be thousands of dollars.
Yeah, or
per month.
More. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, we have a review from a customer who got onboarded, and I'm sure we've shared this one in the past, but it's really remarkable. He got all set up, and he said, I'm going to save $10,000 to $20,000 this year just because I'm not ordering stuff I don't need. Now I see everything that I have. I know I don't sell I have 12 pants in a size I never sell, and so there's so many hidden costs that happen when you are doing things the inefficient way.
Yep.
And here's the thing. RFID isn't some futuristic tech for only giant corporations. It's affordable, proven, and more accessible than ever. So if you're thinking, we'll look at this next year, and we've heard this from people, it's not in our budget. Well, it's like, look, you're spending it. And you're probably spending way, way, way more than you would, spend on RFID.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
And you're losing money, honestly.
Yep.
So, ask yourself which is really more expensive, taking action or standing still.
Yep, absolutely. So let's talk then about the cost to implement RFID and RFID systems. So any RFID system is going to have three main components to it. It's going to have, obviously, the labels, so the RFID stickers that you're applying to all of your products that you're tracking.
And they replace your current label.
Right.
So you're not buying those anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. So it offsets that cost. Like she's saying, it's just a sticker where you're going to be printing the same information that you print on your current stickers, just with the value added benefit of that RFID in it. You're going to have a hardware component, and hardware is generally going to be a printer to print and program these stickers, as well as a reader, a scanner, which basically collects the data. And then the last piece is the software. So really looking at them one by one, RFID stickers back in the day were over $1. I mean, this was even in the early 2000s. Nowadays, stickers are under 10 cents. So you're paying under 10 cents per item per sticker. And, our standard adhesive sticker, I think we sell at 8 cents a piece. So super affordable. Hardware is honestly better than it's ever been. Really easy to use. But a standard desktop RFID printer is going to run about $1,500, and a reader is going to run about $1,500. We have purchased cheaper ones out there in the past and been disappointed. So there are readers that are probably even under $1,000, but after testing them, we weren't happy. So we would say, conservatively, you'd want to be planning for about $3,000 for the hardware. And then the software solution, our particular software solution is just under $200 a month for a location for a retailer. For example, like an online retailer that has a single location, you're $199 a month. So super reasonable, super affordable, especially when you take into account all of these actual costs of what you're spending today. So
people could lose that on one item that they
right.
lost, or one bad move on any of those points that you made earlier. So if this episode hit home for you and you're wondering how much inventory inaccuracy is actually costing you, we have created an ROI calculator to help you determine what this means for your business. And you can access this calculator by navigating to calculator.simplerfid.dev/.
Yeah, go jump online. It's just a website that we created, a little web page. Once again, it's calculator.simplerfid.dev, so DEV. And you can go on there. It allows you to put in some basic metrics about your business, and then you'll be able to see the savings for your particular business. And I think you're going to find that they are substantial. Businesses really need to perk up and take a look at this incredible technology. It's technology now that's being used the world over by the biggest brands and the biggest retailers, so you don't have to take our word for it. Lululemon, Victoria's Secret, Nike, Puma, Adidas, the list goes on and on and on and on. Walmart, Nordstrom, Macy's, Dillard's, they all require it. So this isn't some niche thing at this point. This is becoming a global, influential technology that is becoming critical to have. And you, as a small or mid-sized, or even a burgeoning, growing e-commerce brand, you really need to take a serious look at this and discover for yourself. Don't take our word for it. The cost that you are incurring right now by not implementing this technology and what it's going to mean for your business to do that. So we really hope that you have gained something from today's episode. We really appreciate you subscribing and jumping in. Leave us a review, give us a comment, good or bad. We'd love to hear from you. And we will see you next time on the Masters of Inventory podcast. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.